a bit. So Mr. Nobody is kidnapped in Fast 9 at the start of it, kind of a spoiler, but not really. So Scott Eastwood has some kind of tracker, and he's just slowly walking towards him. He's a golem.
Pony keg?
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. He's a golem.
Anyway, I really like the title card at the start of The Abyss. We've talked about the logo design and things, and I just love that big, giant block letters of The Abyss, which are dark blue, and it slowly comes towards the screen, and the middle of the Y fills the screen, and bang, you're underwater, the film is off, just from that blue. It's a simple thing, but I like it. It worked for me. It got me into the film immediately. It's just that, The Abyss. Huge text. Love it.
Yeah.
That's
why
it.
not?
That's my point. That's it.
It's better than a Deep Blue Sea 3 font.
Absolutely. Yes, that's why it came to mind. It's like, oh, we recently had a terrible font. This is a good one. I'm gonna point it out.
And if it's The Abyss, it's got to be big.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go little on The Abyss.
Just a little tiny in the middle of the screen.
Corner. I mean, that would be pretty poetic, though. I mean, just think about it, like The Abyss, but it's just a tiny thing in the right corner.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, no, I like it.
Or it slowly sinks away from the screen.
Or if
Oh, I like that.
the A, B, S, and S were kind of small, but a giant Y for like the giant canyon. Anyway.
How bad do you feel for the rats that they actually tested that stuff on?
So bad.
They really did it. I didn't know that was actually a thing. I couldn't believe it. Those poor creatures.
5 of them.
5 of them.
Oh my goodness.
And then they sent them to get booster shots. And they're like, who knows if the rats were uncomfortable? Listen.
And they didn't make it to the end of the film.
One of them did,
They said it was because of old age. One of them did. It was old age. Yeah,
if a large giant drowned me in that solution and then brought me back to life, I would not be happy. I wouldn't. I'm alive.
Some degree of
distress. That was horrible.
Yeah,
that was terrible. I thought I was dead.
Yeah, I mean that scene got cut from the UK version. The DVD copy I've got has it in there, but originally it wasn't in the UK version because it's so cruel.
Wow.
I knew that there was a special UK cut. I didn't know what was on it and what wasn't. I was like, what would they be taking out of it? It's not like that. Like, there's not really a lot of gore or anything. So I guess it was the rat.
Yeah, it's the royal. I can't remember the title, but like the royal animal care person saw the film and was like, nope, that rat was not enjoying that. Get that scene out of this film, or that film's not being shown here. And so that's what they did. It's like in Temple of Doom, when that came out here, the scene where the heart is ripped out of the chest, not in the UK version. The actual the scene is there, but the bit where the hand goes into the chest to rip the heart out isn't there. I didn't know this until a couple of years ago.
Well, it's relatively graphic. That I can understand. I mean, that's why PG-13 movies came about.
It's not even on the DVD though. I have a DVD of it. It's not even on that. The Abyss DVD has the rat scene back in it.
Yeah. Oh, that is a bit odd.
You got to go to YouTube and find it.
In Goonies, did you have the squids scene in the Goonies over there?
I've only seen the Goonies once. I think so. I didn't like the Goonies.
Oh.
I saw it too late.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I liked it when I was a kid. I don't enjoy rewatching it that much as an adult.
I watched it when I was
Which I know
like
is not
30.
a popular opinion at all. Yeah, I could see you not connecting to it then. It's like Stranger Things for me. I'm like, I appreciate it, but I'm not getting invested in it like I would have if I watched that when I was younger.
It's the same with Stand By Me. I just don't get Stand By Me. It's a bunch of kids. I don't care about kids. So. What are we doing there?
Oh, okay. So there is one more thing that I was thinking about too, with why maybe people didn't connect to it as much too. I think a lot of people, especially after coming off of Aliens and Terminator, they're expecting there to be a monstrous villain or something, and I think they anticipated that the aliens were going to be bad if there was aliens in it, and obviously they weren't. Though they were a little bit judgmental in the extended cut.
Yeah, we're gonna show these waves to you.
Yeah, how do you guys like tsunamis? Because we've got tsunamis for you.
It's a little bit Day Stood Still, isn't it? We're gonna destroy the world if you're bad. Don't do it again.
Yeah, I'm glad that did not happen in the final cut because it's a bit ridiculous. And two, well, we found these two nice folks. We like them. There's two nice people. I guess we won't destroy the world then.
He said, "Love you, wife." Not even her name, wife. And that's what made them change their mind.
Oh, you know too, that actually irritates the crap out of me. Not that she was referred to as a bitch. They were making a point by using that term regularly in it. They were trying to show that that's how she was regarded, and I didn't like it, but I understood why it existed, and especially in the 80s for a movie. But the wife, I really, really hate that. I hate it when people refer to their partner as the wife. Yeah, the wife's at home cooking us up some dinner. Yeah, the
battle
wife
axe.
over there. Yeah, that kind of crap.
Keep your pantyhose on.
Hate that. Hate it. So on a personal note, that agitates me. But yeah, so I think part of the reason too is I think maybe people anticipated it was going to be like the Leviathan monster, or you were going to get that instead of these benevolent, beautiful creatures that have just been existing there and wanted to make contact and had no ill intentions towards them. That the real bad guys were humans. I loved that about it, but I can imagine that other people were not looking for that and didn't like it.
Yeah, expectations are a killer. People really do get something into their brain, and if it's not that, they have a hard time kind of reconciling the rest of the movie. So yeah, you're 100%. Yeah.
That's why I'll wait if there's like any like really heavily opinionated films or TV shows that come out, I will avoid them at all costs for as long as possible. I mean, Star Wars for me, it's in my blood, and I waited a really long time to watch The Mandalorian because I could not be influenced by everybody else talking about it one way or another. I wanted my expectations to be my own and not anything that I listened to or read. I'm avoiding, what's that darn sports show that everybody's talking about, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso?
Yeah. I am really tired of people going, you gotta watch Ted Lasso. I'm like, no, I don't.
I mean, it is a good show. That's what I'll say. It is a good show.
I'm sure it is, and I'm not doubting that it is, but I have too many expectations of it being something, and I'm just not going to get that out of it because it'll ruin it for me. Yeah. So I tend to do that, which is why I also accept when things like that happen with other people.
It's very, very accepting of you. Good. When we were talking about the Shallows last week, I was picking up on some like Deep Blue Sea-esque things, and obviously we have Michael Beach, small role in this film, where I love that he's here, and you could argue we never see his dead body in the sub, so I like to think he got out, and the aliens are described as being kind of like machines, like living machines. So I don't know if this inspired him to then fear machines and the potential of them taking over humanity. So he got out and he got to the surface somehow from being really deep in the water and started a vendetta against machines and trying to save humanity and became Calderon. I don't know, maybe, who knows. But we got a guy with a rat underwater, kind of made me think of Preacher, got a pet a little bit, got a pet bird. The rat did not get eaten. And then the hippie, I think his name was, Todd Graff is the actor who went on to direct Camp and a bunch of other things. He's a director now, so good for him. He directed The Vanishing in '93, Band Slam to the Joyful Noise with Dolly Parton and Queen Latifah.
That's shot here in Atlanta.
There we go. So yeah, he's like a proper director these days, so good for him. But yeah, he was like the Preacher character because he had a pet. I wanted like Michael Biehn to kill the rat and then him to try to kill Michael Biehn. Like, you killed my rat kind of thing, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. But
that's been a line in a movie, like, you killed my... What was it? You killed my...
dirty rat!
You ate my bird.
Killed my friend! You dirty rat! Which is also replayed over in...
Wait, you killed my bird.
Yeah, you ate my bird. Yeah.
Wait, you dirty... Wait, what?
You dirty rat!
That's
you killed my
Jimmy
friend.
Cagney
Yes, there you go.
from White Heat.
Raphael or Michelangelo does it in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well.
Is it White Heat? I've got to check this now.
I'm on top of the world, Ma.
Yeah, I think that's like the Cagney film I've seen.
I think so. I think that's it.
Bugsy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Why is it not like... I want to type in your Dirty Rat quote. Why doesn't it immediately come up with the film? Why have I got why is there more searching required? The internet is failing me right now.
The internet fails often. The Google sometimes gets a little drunky too. They have someone who carries around a keg for them.
Whoa.
You killed my brother. You dirty rat.
I wish someone carried around a keg of pretentious IPA wherever I go. That'd be awesome. But it have to be local, so they'll have to travel there, grab it, and then, like, so whatever city I'm in, they'll just have to get a new keg of something local. and bring it.
Well, I mean, you have a child on the way, Mark. You can train them to do this for you.
Oh yeah, I can get him a radio flyer cart.
You're gonna be your cake caddy.
What?
It'll work.
Yes.
Fine. I tell my 4-year-old anytime he asks for anything, I'm like, get a job and pay for it yourself. Then he started telling people when they asked him for stuff that they needed to get a job. So I've stopped saying it as much. Got to be very careful about the things you say. And then you start to hear them mirrored back to you like, hey, you have 2 legs. Why don't you go get that yourself? I got told the other night, Mama, you have 2 legs. You can get that yourself.
Wasted by your own petard.
Touche, exactly.
For me, as someone who works in electronics, the most unbelievable part of the film was when Ed Harris has to cut the wires, and he's presented with a black wire with a white stripe. Sorry, a black wire with a yellow stripe and a blue wire with a white stripe. That's never going to happen. He can't see them. He can't tell the difference. That's a plot point, but it's ridiculous. Whoever designed that is a fool. So just no. Hate it.
Yeah, that's a common thing they do in movies and in film too. It's just one of those things. Yeah, it's like everybody being able to kick open a door. You just kind of accept it as, everyone can kick open a door. It's totally easy to do.
Wires have distinct, different colours for a reason. This is the reason. Anyway, moving on. I loved that when he first meets the aliens, he greets them with a howdy.
Yeah, howdy.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Ed Harris is so good. He sells this. I mean, he was this poor guy, and then he met some new friends down there, and I don't know. He just
gonna stay a while.
Yeah. He just put the work in.
Of all the characters, I really did like him. He wasn't a perfect person. He was flawed, and I personally enjoy when my main character isn't perfect. When they're actually real. It makes me be able to trust what's happening more in the scenario. It makes it more real for me. But he was relatively charming, and we don't know why he and his wife were so estranged. Everybody seemed to think she was the mega bitch. So I mean, there was that too. He was likable to me though.
The one moment that hasn't aged too well, I don't think it ever was good, but when she freezes, he takes her up to the surface. You have that good dramatic scene, but then they're like, "Oh, you need bare skin to do the to start a heart back." So then he rips her shirt open, and you just I just felt bad for Mary Elizabeth because I'm like, what? This isn't you just have red and blue wires like that. There's aliens like you just like why have realism here? And it just seems
it's realism, but also it's a scene where she is dead on a table. She is gone. She has been brain dead now for minutes. But he just screams and slaps at her until she comes back to life. So
I actually have a hard time watching that just because he's so aggressively pressing on her chest, and I'm thinking, well, I was taught to do that, and you're not supposed to push that hard because you're going to break the rib cage, and it's hurting me right now watching it. I actually have a hard time watching that scene. It makes me uncomfortable, and also, it was unnecessary for her to be exposed.
It just, I don't know. It just didn't feel like, of all the time to be real, and then just to do that, it just felt kind of exploitative a little bit. And I mean, it's just like we got to have this realism in this scene, and and then he slaps her. It's like that doesn't get water out of your lungs. That just hurts your face.
Yeah, that's just gonna be that's you're adding problems. That's gonna be a bruise.
Yeah,
yes.
Making it worse.
Yeah. And he wasn't doing Staying Alive during his CPR. He's supposed to have songs.
But knowing that for a lot of that, Master Antonio wasn't there because she'd had enough. Because they ran out of film, but Cameron didn't tell anyone. They just kept going, like for Harris to slap her in the face without it being filmed.
I'm not an animal. And for once, Cameron had nothing to say, Jay.
Yeah.
Cameron just sat there going, yeah.
Yeah, so she's stormed off, and that's why it's all well framed, so that Ed Harris is like doing the compressions, but his hands are just off screen. So like the emotion he's given, that force to his performance, when he's just pounding on the ground, is incredible. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
just I don't know. I watch it and I'm like, ugh.
And then
maybe I'm getting old. I don't
know. When he goes down, when he does the dive to go and retrieve the warhead, whatever it is. and he can't speak. I find that it's a very, very interesting